I'm Christine from Pack Hacker. In this video, we're taking a look at the Bellroy Laneway Belt Bag, which I've been testing for 2 weeks. Let's dive in. So the Laneway Belt Bag is a 2-liter sling, and it is made with recycled nylon. But what's interesting is that half of the recycled materials come from recycled fishing nets and half come from just industrial nylon cast-offs. So I just found that a little interesting that they're doing something nice with those fishing nets, which is great. The material is what you'd expect from nylon. It's just, you know, sort of basic. It does not really have an additional water resistance to it, but you know, nylon itself is rather water resistant. So, you know, you can get caught in a sprinkle or whatever and you'll be fine. Downpours, you should go put it away because there's no water resistance on the zippers here or whatnot, but they are YKK zippers. They work really well. They slide very nicely. I do like that they have these cords and this like metal, I think it's metal. I keep on trying to figure out, is it metal, is it plastic? You know, but it feels metal. Anywho, pulls, it's just easy to grab when you're wearing it, which is really nice. We have a different sort of a Bellroy logo than we see on some of the other packs like the Venture slings and whatnot. This one's sort of rubbery, but it goes with the really casual nature of the rest of this bag, so I'm here for it. And also, so this is the sea kelp colorway, which again, yay, marine life, right? But if you don't like this sort of like greenish gray, it really does look like seaweed. You know, if you don't really like that colorway, there's also ink, which is black, or fawn, I believe, which is like a taupey beige. So you can have some other options. And then as for the other hardware, we do have a Woojin magnetic buckle here, which I will talk a little more about shortly. With such a tiny bag, you really wouldn't expect much of a quote unquote harness system. And you know, we do have sort of satiny webbing that you expect or find on lots of slings. It's attached nicely with these sort of V-shaped, I don't know, loops. Anyways, it helps it angle up really nicely when you're wearing it and whatnot. Plus we have an adjuster that is integrated into the strap, so we have no dangling, which is really nice. It is easy to move and yet stays put where you set it, so that's awesome. If you need to take it off, like I said, we have this Woojin magnetic buckle, which I didn't have any issues with it popping off accidentally, which is great. But then you do also have quite nice padding back here on the back panel to blunt the feeling of any gear you put back here, which is really nice when it's really up close and tight to your chest. So like I said, this is definitely a casual sling. Perhaps if you were getting the all black version, it would be slightly more polished looking, but I mean, and it's not that it doesn't look polished, it's just not gonna be great with like a suit, right? So I did like it. I've been wearing it all around the place, the library, the market, on a bike, taking walks everywhere, and it's pretty comfortable if you really load it up, which I'm prone to do. Sometimes if you have bare shoulders, like this dress is fine because it doesn't, it's not on bare skin, but sometimes if you have bare shoulders, it can rub slightly, but it's really not that uncomfortable. Now this one is called a belt bag, right? So you should be able to wear it around your waist. And the only issue I have with that is that if you are slender, or more petite, it does sort of, it doesn't cinch up small enough really for your waist. So keep that in mind if you are a smaller user and you actually want it to go around your waist. So even though this is a tiny little sling and whatnot, it is nice to have 2 compartments, or at least I think it's nice because I like being able to know where things are, or at least just having options, right? So anywho, this one has a back slip pocket. So it is slightly more secure because it'll be up against your body if you needed to put like your cash or passport in there. And I do have to say it's best for slender items. It shares capacity with the main compartment, but it's still not the deepest part. Like all the additional depth on this bag, here you go, is on this front section. So back here, I mostly used it for my phone, tissues, lip balm, nail file, stuff like that. And I found it to be really good for that. It has padding here in between the main compartment as well. So definitely like, you don't have to worry about like your phone screen cracking or anything because there is a lot of padding. Now that then takes up a bit of room on this sling, so bear that in mind, but I didn't have much of an issue. I do have a small phone, but I also put a pop socket wallet on it, so there's that, so I make it a little fatter. But you have lots of room. It basically takes up this whole back panel. So there's lots of space there. Just realize that the more you cram back here, the less you'll be able to cram in front. So if you are finding this video helpful, go ahead and take a moment and click like and subscribe for us here, and then we can keep bringing you content like this to help you travel smarter. Now we're going to go into the main compartment, which does only have one zipper, so you know you can only open it from one side. It's really not that big of a deal, just something to pay attention to if that bothers you. We open it up and then you will see we have a little bit of extra organization in here. It's not just open. Obviously, mostly you could just let these slip pockets, there's 2 slip pockets, and they basically take up half of the inside of each of the bag. They divide the back panel, that's what I'm trying to say. So if you don't want organization, just let them lay flat and you won't really have an issue. But I did find them very useful for like my AirPods, and then I have a couple of toiletry bottles in this other one, mostly because I use that pop socket wallet. But I don't always carry my additional minimalist wallet, but that also fits very nicely in here as well. So you can keep that in there, and then it probably wouldn't protrude as much. But I did like having my bottles right here, my hand lotion and my sanitizer. It just kept them from like falling over and maybe popping open. I've had the issues with that one sometimes, but it just makes it just a hair organized, right? So sometimes you just want a little bit of organization, and that's what you get with this bag. Then in front there is more space, and I mostly used it for my sunglasses. Sometimes if I was wearing my sunglasses and so didn't need that space, I'd pop my phone in here. Either way, you just sort of play around with things. Now, I will also say what there is, and it's very easy to see here because I have my nice big bulky car keys on here. There is a key leash with a really long cord and a nice sort of gatekeeper clip. I have no issues with the leash or the clip itself. What I do have a slight issue with is that when I have just my work key fob on there, which is what I primarily kept on there, first of all, it's really great to have that because you can just pull it out while you're still wearing the sling, reach the door, no problem. So that's the pro. The con is because of sort of how, and see with this bright light shining on, you're gonna be like, how can you not see that? But in everyday use, when you don't have a top-down light shining into the bag, I actually found it sort of hard to sometimes find that leash because it's like located, it's like almost all of the way down. It's attached so far to the bottom. I would have preferred it be attached to the top so I could just whip it out that way. Also because like when I have my sunglasses in there, then to get the keys, because it's so long, they end up underneath it. It like dislodges anything I have on top. Minor details, just saying. It surprised me how long it took me to remember where the key leash was because I used it every day. So that's my issue. Hopefully you won't have that issue. Also, it does get better with time. So this is a great little bag if you are, traveling and you just want to carry the essentials and keep your hands free. Works awesome for that. Everyday use, same thing. Pairs really well with a day pack to just have the essentials close at hand, shopping, whatnot. it works really well for that. If you want to carry maybe a few more items, maybe you're going to want something a little bigger, but this really gets the job done for what you mostly need every day. So there you have it, the Bellroy Laneway Belt Bag. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next one.